Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and boy am I excited to show you today's model. This is the iFlight Nazgul5 HD edition, and for the last year my main freestyle rig has been the analog version, which is just brilliant. In fact, when it came out I was about to do a budget friendly 6S freestyle build, but when I added up the list of components I couldn't compete with what came with the Nazgul5 for the same price. So I'm absolutely thrilled that they have released this Cadex Vista HD version with some improvements along the way. Now, I've been flying this guy for a couple of weeks and I'm really struggling to find things wrong with it, but let's give it a try. I can't say that I'm too fond of how the camera slightly pokes out of the front. Now, they give you this nice 3D printed TPU camera protector which does the job. However, you can't really angle it more than 35 degrees because the edge of the protector gets in the way of the frame. But it just so happens that 35 degrees is the camera angle I fly at for freestyle. But if you want any more than that, then you will have to take the camera protector off. I'm not sure why they didn't redesign the carbon plate on the side of the frame so that the DJI camera can sit further back, but with this being a budget-friendly model, they most likely just designed a 3D printed part in place of an analog camera. And there's another thing I thought was worth mentioning. I did break an arm crashing into concrete with the analog version, and it seems to be a weak point with iFlight frames in general, but they have made the arms thicker on this new V5 edition of the frame, and so far I've not had any breakages, but it might be worth buying some spare arms when buying this model at the same time. I also wish that they had designed it so you could fit another battery strap through the back of the frame, because the first strap sits too far forward on the battery. They do give you a grippy mat so that the battery doesn't slide, and it does feel fairly secure, but a second strap through the back would definitely do the trick. But other than that, I really can't think of any more faults. This is a superb model and it's already cemented itself into my main freestyle rig. Of course you need the DJI goggles, but I'd still recommend the analog version if you have analog gear. So another thing to point out is that this model is really intended to be used in conjunction with a GoPro, due to the fact that the frame is a true X configuration. So if you purely relied on the feed from the Cadex Vista, then your HD recording will get the props in shot as well as some of the frame. Plus, they have used the Vista to make the model lighter, and with it not having any built-in recording, the GoPro is a much better option for freestyle. Now, you have to buy the GoPro mount separately, and be careful here because this one is listed as being for the Hero 6 to the Hero 8, but it actually just fits the Hero 8 due to it being bigger than the other ones. They do make a GoPro 5 to 7 mount for the analog model, and those will still fit this one just fine. I was a little bit unsure about the GoPro 8 mount at first because it looks weak, but it doesn't cause any jello in the video feed. It comes with a nice lens protector that fits inside the casing, and you can easily change the angle with this bolt and Allen key system that is cleverly designed to stay in place. You can also access the SD card and USB port without removing it from the case with this side cutout. More welcome improvements are these motor protectors, which now double up as skids so you won't damage the motor screws if you want to slide around on concrete. There are some other nice little touches, such as the grip on the Vista's antenna and these motor wire protectors. They have also hooked up an LED to the iFlight logo underneath, and there's a cutout for a large capacitor to filter out any noise. The motors are iFlight's Zing E2207 1800 kV for the 6S version of the model and 2750 kV for the 4S version. iFlight sell them as a budget motor, but they are as good as any motor on the market. They are just not as flashy as some of the other higher priced motors, but I think they really suit the colour scheme of the model nicely. The props are iFlight's Nazgul 5140s, which I'm a big fan of. Then the stack consists of iFlight Success 45A BL Heli S ESCs and an F4 flight controller with JESC setup out of the box. And you usually have to do some work with the setup for iFlight models, but this one is set up superb with Betaflight 4.2, and you just have to take note of the props out configuration when putting the props on, and you also have to set up your modes in the modes tab. They've come up with their own custom PIDs which work flawlessly with a GoPro installed. They're using the stock rates, so I changed those to my liking, but I have to say there was very little messing around in Betaflight with this one. Now, this is a DJI bind and fly version of the Nazgul5, so I can bind my DJI transmitter directly to it, but they sell it with a range of different receivers, including FOSSky and Crossfire. The Vista is totally standard, so you will need to activate it and update it yourself. The model's dry weight is 441 grams, and with a Hero 8 it's 566 grams. I'm using a 1050mAh Tattoo 6S LiPo, which gives an all-up weight of 738 grams, which sounds heavy, but the weight is mostly down to the heavier GoPro Hero 8, and it's only 50 grams more in total than the analog version of the Nazgul5. Plus, you want a freestyle model to have a bit of weight to it. You're given loads of spares, including a battery strap and another anti-slip mat, as well as USB cables and a spare set of props. They do sell spare parts for everything with this model, so there's no worries there. The price is currently around $319, but check the links below as prices always change. And $149 of that is the Vista, so if I take that away, then everything else costs just $170 or around 129 GBP, which I think is really good for what you get. Okay, let's go for a line of sight flight with this guy, straight into acro mode, and straight away those 3D printed parts showing up very well, although the yellow is blending into the grass, so I imagine if I landed over there, wouldn't be great for finding it, but I think I struggle to find it anyways in this long grass. Let's go up on the throttle. Ooh, very nice and smooth. Not hearing any oscillation straight away, and this is with their PIDs and with the GoPro 8 on the top. Of course, I'll have to see how it flies FPV, but it's looking good so far. Oh yeah. Doesn't feel heavy at all for a model that's a little bit heavier. Feels very nimble actually, just as you would expect from a freestyle model. Doing loops nicely and rolls nicely as well. Very controllable and very smooth. To say I really do like the colour scheme of this one. It's a 1050mAh Tattoo 6S. And so far, so good. Yeah, very snappy. Yeah, it's really good for orientation, the TPU underneath the arms. I like that. And of course, better for skidding along the ground with this new modified design. The motors are so smooth. You can't get much better than these motors, even though technically they are their economy brand or budget brand. Oh yes. plenty of power. Not hearing any sag from the battery as well, which is amazing because this is quite an old battery. Usually give the old batteries for my line of sight flights because you're not always on the throttle. It's quite noisy, this one, with the low pitch prop, but that's to be expected with freestyle. I'll give you a full blast. Oh yeah. It's quiet on low throttle, but then you give it a blip and it produces quite a lot of noise. Oh, I like this. I think this is going to be great FPV. Just going to flick it into angle mode to see if I've got any drift. It's just the wind blowing it. That's hands off. Yeah, just the wind blowing it. It's been a while since I've flown on this DJI controller, so it's taken a little bit of getting used to. Well, let's go and fly at FPV. So I don't have much more to say about this model. I absolutely love it, and it's going to be my main digital freestyle rig. The only thing I will say, if you are interested in this setup, is that I strongly recommend that you get the 6S version. And that's because 2750 kV is a little bit high for 4S freestyle. It's more of a racing kV, and I think you will get a lot of voltage sag on punch outs. But with 6S, there was no problems with voltage sag or performance. The only thing you have to watch out for on 6S is that cliff edge of the voltage when you get towards the end of the battery. It creeps up on you quick, and I have ruined some batteries that way. But other than that, I'm really impressed with the performance of the DJI camera. There's no jello coming through to it, which is something I always watch out for, especially when the camera is mounted in TPU. And the tune is absolutely flawless. I can't fault it, and I wouldn't change anything. It's really snappy, there's no bobbing up and down, and it is just really smooth when you go up on the throttle. So if you wish to get one, I'll put a link in the video description as well as a pinned comment, and I'll leave you with some flying. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.
Your choice to make a little mockery, it won't do. Further down the line, still surrendering, trying harder to forgive you. Candlelight has gone out, some will win and some will lose. Nothing much else to say, thought I was searching for something. Door has closed, not a sound. Slow down, slow down, slow down.